Now, today we have somebody who is actually more knowledgeable and more of an expert, I would say, on this subject. Let's say hello to Uncle Gery. Hi, good morning, Uncle Gery.
Good morning, Paul. Good morning,
Can I
Karina.
call you Uncle Gery?
It's so great to be here. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, now I know why you're a great storyteller. You see, just the way he's
I
greeting
know.
us, it's already totally warm and very,
Oh,
very
wow.
exciting to have you here, by the way. So, can you tell us a little bit about how you got started as a storyteller?
How I got
as a
started
career?
as storyteller? Okay, it was like the coincidence.
Okay.
It was a long, long time ago in 1991.
Okay.
I went to a birthday party, and that parents of that birthday girl asked me to do something to be the entertainment for that birthday girl.
But he wasn't supposed to at the time. You were just a
Yes,
guest.
they
Okay.
already contacted a clown management and the magician, but they didn't come up.
Okay.
I don't know what happened, but
Okay.
the parents asked me, "Can you do something to make something for the kids?"
Right.
Okay, let me try. I jumped off from the window and I said hi to all the children. Then, "Hi, good morning, children," and I got shocked. What do I have to do? I'm not a magician.
Right.
I'm not a clown. And then I remember, okay, I will tell them a story.
Okay.
So it's just like a coincidence. That time, for the very first time, I saw the children's eyes. They looked at me
Light
like
up,
this way, with the open mouth pushes like that.
Who is
And-
that?
And that is the aha moment for me.
Okay.
That's the beginning of my storytelling activities since
You-
that time.
You didn't even bring a story. You didn't have anything planned.
Let me tell you something. Even I didn't like kids at that time.
Oh my goodness, what a turn of events.
Yes,
So-
that time.
Right.
That time.
By the way, I hope they didn't pay that clown and magician. I hope they paid you
They
instead.
paid you more.
But I love kids now. I love
Right.
kids. I love the children's situation and play with them and telling them stories.
I guess it's part of that first experience because you first connected with them and they gave you their attention.
Yes.
Good
When you fell
impression.
in love with
Right.
kids.
That's the magic part of the storytelling.
Right.
I didn't know where it had come from, but it just like something came to my body and just like boom
That was
at
it.
that time. I didn't get any course for that. I didn't do any training for being
Yeah.
a storytelling, but
But you certainly were born with the talent for
Yeah, I
it.
mean-
You just didn't discover
Oh,
it
thank
until
you.
Your
later on.
personality and stuff.
Right.
Now, I mean, you mentioned that it was a coincidence that you sort of found
Absolutely.
yourself with this line of working out. But what made you sort of like decide like I want to continue to pursue this?
Oh,
Like,
good.
Especially like children are so hard to like. I mean, I don't know about your kids,
Mm-hmm.
Paul, but like I feel like it's so hard to get children's attention.
Different
or maybe
kids.
not like hard to like get it, but to
Yeah.
like actually
Maintain it,
maintain
yeah.
right.
their
Right.
attention.
Depends on the kids, by the way. My first kid, very easy to get her attention. My second kid, I can't get his attention. I can't keep his attention for more than 5 seconds at a time. So,
Yeah, you have kids, who are different, but like, what
Yes.
made you pursue still, continue,
Okay.
and decide to?
That time when I started to the storytelling, the coincidence happened. I was a student in uni, and I thought, oh, this is the way how to get my pocket money if I do that for any birthday parties in town. So, okay, I'll do that, and I will promote myself as storyteller for the birthday kids or children in town
Right.
that time. And I will get money from that. it's about how to get money from that activities. But that's for the first time. But I learned a lot from that. It's not all about the money,
Right.
of course.
Because you have to love what you do, even if you're
Yes,
making money,
yes,
right? In order
right,
For you
right.
to keep doing it. Now, a lot of storytellers will end up using properties or things like that to support their performance. How about you? Do you do the same kind of strategy? Is there any particular
Good
strategy?
question. Yes, that's right. All storytellers, they have their own specializing in
You're right.
doing the storytelling activities. They have puppets or just like dolls or puppets, just
Oh, you
like
got
the
some here.
yes, the elephant. Oh, I watched about the news about an elephant and the calf.
Yes.
Yeah, the elephants but I try to train myself to specialize in audio production,
Okay.
storytelling. So
Right.
that's kind of my specializing in the storytelling industry.
Okay. So what do we call it? a theater of mind. You try to create something.
Exactly.
You try to make them visualize.
That's the word. The theater of mind, the
Right.
imagination of the
Imagination.
children's mind, like that.
Yeah, because I've always heard that a lot of times the reason why people listen to podcasts of storytelling, why it's so good, is because everyone has different imaginations.
Right.
Right? So you can let everyone create their own.
It leaves room for
Correct.
that.
You don't have
Yes.
to draw every
You
single
to-
thing out
yeah.
for them.
Exactly.
That's really interesting. Now, you worked in the Philippines before,
Yes.
right? Yes.
Okay.
So you've worked outside of Indonesia. I mean, I don't have kids, so I really don't know the difference between like different kinds of kids. But would you say the experience over in the Philippines and here in Indonesia were the same, or?
Karina and Paul, let me tell you something. Children are all the same wherever you go.
Okay.
They like to play. They have their own imagination.
Right.
They have that theater of mind in their minds. And they just want to have fun
Okay.
with all the activities they have. And children are all the same.
Right.
In the Philippines or in the United States, Indonesia. But yeah, the difference are in the culture maybe.
That's what I was going to ask. Children in different countries must have different cultures. Like for us, for Indonesians, we have a lot of mythical stories and
Right.
characters that we like to tell our kids. How is it different if you have to prepare in, let's say, somewhere outside of Indonesia? Do you have to learn about what
Yeah.
the stories or the folklore that they grew up on? Well, how is it different than if you told stories here?
That's why the important part of being a storyteller is doing the research.
Okay.
You have to know the audience. You have to know they like or dislike. You have to know what kind of life they have and what kind of stories that have an education inside their story or
Right.
just being a story as a story.
Right.
Yeah, you have to know about that. You have to do the research before that.
Do you prefer to choose stories that do have a lesson behind it so that the kids have
I
something?
think so. Yes, I prefer to tell stories about the how to build the characters,
Educational.
educate people or children to do that.
Right, especially in this day and age, right? We see children now, they're so hooked onto their gadgets. It's so different to when I was a kid.
I
Like,
know.
storytelling was still so popular, like we all looked forward
But gadgets
to
were already around when you were a kid.
it. No.
No,
not
not at all?
yeah. He likes to make that
Yeah,
joke. But from your perspective, Uncle Gery, how can we make storytelling more educational that we can, sort of like steal their attention away from gadgets and get back to more, learning and just being imaginative?
It's trickier these days because
Yeah.
gadgets are so much more entertaining because they have, all these colors and they're vivid.
Right,
But if you
right,
go back to
right.
storytelling, yeah.
But please don't blame gadget or the technology
Right.
development of that because it's not their fault. All the parents, they have to know, they have to understand that the meaning of being a storyteller or being a storyteller for their children is have a good bonding or engagement with your kids. Once when you have that bonding or engagement with your kids, you don't have to be worried about the gadgets or the bad entertainment or bad influence from the gadget.
Okay. So let's talk about how to become a great storyteller for our kids or for our kids someday. One of the tips that I learned was that with my daughter, she loved it if I did the voices in how I thought they should be done. For example, if I say, then the big gorilla then came along and said, oh, I want those bananas. And then the little mouse said, oh no. She loved it when I did that. So one of the things a tip that I would say to parents, don't be shy. Like, don't worry about looking silly or
Yes.
feeling silly
Yes.
because the kids love it. And I find that she's the only one in the room anyway. Nobody else can see it. So I didn't really care. But perhaps could you share some other tips on how to be a great storyteller
Yep.
for
Yes.
a kid?
The first thing first is you have to love the children's mind. You have to
Okay.
get the ambiance of being amongst the children and loving the storytelling activities and do not ever judge any imagination they have
Right.
in their mind because
Okay.
all the imagination is just like a theater of mind. So we just have to appreciate that. For instance, I will ask the children before I do the storytelling activities, and they will answer my question. What kind of story do you want me to tell you today? I want you to tell me a story about a Batman
Okay.
riding a bicycle, going to the moon, and buying a tahu there.
Wow, okay.
It's just like no connections
random.
with
Right.
all spots and things.
Yeah.
But that's what we call imagination.
Okay.
You have to understand
They
that.
connect the dots.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So when you appreciate that imagination, and then suddenly you can change your voice. Oh, I can be a big gorilla now, or I can be a little mouse.
Right,
Just like
right,
that. It
right.
comes from your mind.
Yeah.
Nothing is impossible.
Nothing is
Nothing
possible
is
in
impossible.
children's mind,
Yes.
in imagination mind.
Yes. Speaking of changing your voice, not only are you a storyteller, you've done a lot of voiceover work as well throughout the years.
thank you,
Can
yeah.
you tell us a little bit about some of the projects that you've done?
Yeah. I did a lot of projects for the animation movies in Indonesia, and some of them from Disney's and Indonesian animators movie here.
Right.
Yeah, that's what we call being a dubber for
So
that.
you've dubbed some of
Dub.
the Disney movies into local languages.
Right,
Okay.
right.
So how challenging was that? Because
Oh,
you do have to capture some famous characters here, right?
Yeah, right. You have to understand that. That's why I told you that we have to do the research.
Right.
How do I have to present the mouse voice in that familiar in Indonesian children's mind?
Right.
You have just like when you hear the kukuruyuk in Indonesia. But they will say the kookel-doodle-doo
Yeah.
in there. So that's different. We
different
have to
in
understand
style.
that.
Right. Okay.
Wow, it's actually that precise. Huh?
Yes.
I've never
Right.
actually thought about it.
How does that help you in your storytelling? Do you find that actually helps you improve your skills as a storyteller as well?
Right. Yeah, it improves my skill and my ability to being a good storyteller. But I learned a lot from the children.
Right.
They are the teachers for me.
Really?
What do they like is I have to adjust myself to be a good storyteller for them. So they're all the decision maker of the.
Right.
So you see what works with them, and then you have to be more that way.
Right.
Ah,
Right.
Okay.
Because
Very
their imagination is so broad. Right?
Absolutely.
You.
Absolutely, Gery.
Right. Okay, so before we end our discussion, I think it's time for us to.
Is it the ending? Oh, please don't.
Yeah, I know. I wish we had more
time flies when you're having fun.
I like to talk a lot.
Well, don't worry. We do have this. Now that we've learned kind of the theory of it, we're going to try to put it to practice. Now we have our team has actually lined up a few short clips from some perhaps famous animated movies. I have no idea what they are. I
wow.
haven't seen them myself. And each of us will take turns to try to provide the voice for them. And perhaps you can show us at the very end. You can lead by example as well and show us how it's
The right
actually
way.
done. Well, we're going to start off with Karina because that will be very entertaining.
Oh,
so
dear.
our first one, let's see the clip first, perhaps. Okay, maybe can we see the clip first, so it's not a surprise? Have you seen the
I
clip?
don't like surprises.
Have you seen these clips yet? Oh, here we go.
Oh, there we go. Oh,
Disney
that's
princess.
is that
Oh,
Rapunzel?
This is the frog and the princess, right?
No,
I
that's
believe?
Rapunzel.
No? What is this?
You should know this.
Okay.
Oh, do I? Okay.
So those are the lines we've already prepared for you, Karina.
All
So
right.
you all have to do is
Okay, I'm gonna
you
go
have
for
to
it. All right.
provide her the voice with the character of a princess.
Okay.
Okay, let's start from the top.
All right. Well, that's 22 for me. How about 23 out of 45? Okay, well, what do you want to do? Yeah, I don't think so. I like it in here, and so do you.
Oh, not bad at all. Okay, we're gonna ask Uncle Gery. What do you think, Uncle Gery?
Oh, that's great.
Oh my gosh, yay!
Okay, well, not really too hard because this is a Disney princess.
Yes.
Karina's life isn't far from a Disney princess, so good job anyway, regardless.
Thank
You
you.
did.
Allie would be proud.
All right, let me see the clip first. I don't know what mine is.
Oh.
Okay. Oh,
wow.
Yeah,
this is
suits
Scar. Okay, all right.
Wow.
It's scary.
Okay, let's start this clip from the top. And all right, count me down, guys, because I don't know. I want to try to sync the mouth exactly as well. All right, ready? Okay, here we go. Life is not fair, is it? When I shall never be king, and you shall never see the light of another day. All right, let's start things over. All right, I think that's it. Yes, that's it. Yes, that's the end of mine.
Oh, wow.
Okay. What do you think, Uncle Gery? Do I do a good Scar?
Hey, yeah. Just like watching a real Lion King movie.
All right.
The guy that does Scar's voice is actually, I'm trying to remember his name. Something Jeremy. Something Ronald Jeremy. Something like that. But it's a famous actor as well. And I do remember he has that bit of a British accent as well. So, but yeah, very good.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Very difficult to do. All
Very
right.
nice.
Last but not least, Uncle Gery, a very famous character from a Disney movie. I'm sure you will recognize.
Oh, my favorite character, the snowman,
Yes,
Olaf. Okay.
Olaf. All right. So we're going to start this one from the top. And your lines are there. We've prepared for you.
Okay, let me try.
Okay.
All right, let's start things over. Hi, everyone. I'm Olaf, and I like warm hugs.
Oh, that was so good.
Olaf. Oh, my kid would love that.
I love
Yeah.
Olaf.
So, what do you think is the most challenging when it comes to doing a voiceover? Is it actually capturing the character itself and being able to kind of, I guess, to convey the feeling and the message of what the character is trying to say? Because I find it very challenging to have to do that because I have to be in the mind of the character. I have to know what the character wants and what the character
Yeah. But the most challenging thing is you have to change yourself, change your physical things inside your mouth and audio production of your voice. But the most difficult part is in your mind. You have to change. You are not Paul, but you are the Scar.
Yes.
I'm not Gery, but I'm the Paul. I'm the Olaf. It's not Paul.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that you have to do inside you. But that's theater of mind.
Get into characters.
Right.
So it's kind of like the same as acting, even though it's just
It's
your
very
voice.
much acting.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Mirrors.
That's why if you've ever seen like clips of people, famous people, when they're doing voiceovers, like Tom Hanks when he
Right.
did the Toy Story, he's actually acting it out
Right.
as
Yes.
he's doing the voice because he
Yes.
wants to be
Yes.
part of it. He wants
Yeah.
to pretend that he's actually doing it. So nowadays, from now on, when you watch an animated film,
I know. I'm
don't
gonna think about
underestimate
it.
the power
That's
of
the
a
secret
voice.
of that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Uncle Gery, for
Oh,
joining us.
thank you so
Oh,
much.
thank
you.
you,
See
Uncle
today.
Gery.
Thank you, Karina. Thank you,
It was so
Paul.
much fun.
Yeah.
Good to
Hope to have
you
you again
here.
soon.
All right, guys, we'll be taking another break, but don't go anywhere because when we come back, we will be having a recap of our news from our previous segment. Stay with us on the C Morning Show, only on C Today.
I wish we had longer clips.